I've been using Claude Cowork a lot lately, and I do think this is one of those AI tools that everyone should be using or at least give a try. Claude Cowork is like having an AI personal assistant that can do pretty much anything. It can organize files on your PC, automatically respond to emails, perform deep research, and create presentations. The sky is the limit. And you can also control all of this from your mobile device. In fact, I've started using Claude Cowork more than other AI assistants like OpenClaw. It's really that cool. As an added bonus to you guys, I'm going to show a referral link at a random point in this video, and the first 3 people to click on it will get 7 days free access to Claude Cowork. So enough talk, let's jump in. So the first thing we need to do is download and install Claude Desktop. So you can go to claude.com/download and then simply download Claude Desktop for your operating system. I'll be downloading it for Windows. Then you can open the Claude Desktop app, and it should look like a very familiar interface. This looks very similar to the web app. For example, you can start a conversation like you usually would. You can change the model that you would like to use, like Opus 4.6 being the flagship model. And of course, you can create projects and use it as per normal. But now you also have these 2 tabs, like Cowork and Code. Now, we won't be touching Claude Code in this video. I already have a bunch of videos on Claude Code, so if you want, you can check out my entire Claude Code masterclass, where I show you how to use Claude Code in the Claude Desktop app to build things like websites, dashboards, and web applications. Now, in this video, we're just interested in Cowork. Now, Cowork is like a personal AI assistant. It can interact with files on our machine, it can go online, it can interact with external applications, and a lot more. This is stupidly powerful, and Anthropic keeps adding new functionality to this as well. Now, in the default interface, it kind of just looks like the normal chat window. So we can pass a message to Claude, we can of course change the model, but we can also select a workspace or a project. Now, we will have a look at projects in a second, but what we can also do is simply select a folder on our machine, and that will give Claude Cowork permission to make changes to the files in that folder. Claude won't be able to make changes to any old file or folder on your machine. You have to give it permission by assigning a folder to it. So let's have a look at what options we have available in the menu. Of course, we just saw projects. Of course, we can search through any previous discussions with Claude Cowork, or we can also go to Scheduled, which allows us to schedule tasks that will run at a certain interval. So as an example, let's say we wanted Claude Cowork to respond to emails like once a day or every hour. We can simply create a new task, and let's call this one something like Respond to Emails. And for the description, I'll just say respond to customer emails, and then we can provide any prompt we want. So let's park this for now, but I just wanted to show you at a high level that you can schedule a task and set its frequency. But let's get back to that in a second. Then we also have projects. With projects, we can organize our tasks and maybe specific context, like rules or any reference files, into one place. As an example, let's say you've got a folder on your machine with a whole bunch of documents like expenses, statements, and receipts. And you want Claude to run on an interval to organize and categorize all of the files in that folder. What you can simply do is create a new project, and then we can decide to create the folder from scratch, or if we already have an existing project, we can import it, or we can use an existing folder. So if we already have a folder containing all of those files, we can simply select it from our machine, and now we can give Claude Code instructions like categorize and organize the files in this folder in subfolders like invoices, receipts, statements, and other. And then we can manually drag files into this little view, or simply click to browse any files. Then we can create our project, which will look something like this. So we can see the folder that it's actually working in. Actually, I just have to rename this to manage, documents. And of course, in context, you can upload additional files as well, coding standards, or something that you just want to inject into the context as well. What we can also do is set up a schedule within the project, so we can let all of this run on a certain schedule, like hourly, daily, weekly, or we can just fire it off manually. So projects can be really ideal if you want to just group a whole bunch of files and context together. Then we have Dispatch. This is really cool. I use this all the time. This is how you can connect your Claude Code desktop app to the app on your mobile device. So that way you don't have to sit behind your PC. You can just open up your phone and get Claude Cowork to start work by sending it messages from your phone. We will set this up in the video as well. Right, so back to the fundamentals. Now, those are all the features at a high level, but now let's dive into actually building something ourselves. Now, I do have to mention that in order to use Cowork, you do need to be on a paid plan. So on your profile, you can simply go to Upgrade Plan. Then you can click on Upgrade Plan and upgrade to any of their plans. Maybe you just want to start off with the basic Pro plan. Now let's build something fun. Things are going really well at the Oak and Barrel, my restaurant that specializes in steaks and sushi. And this is just a fake restaurant, by the way, but it's perfect for this demo. So at the Oak and Barrel, we have a menu that covers a wide selection of things. So it's steaks, it's sushi, it's craft beer and wine. But these images are really outdated. And I think it's time that we find better images for our menu. We could use those images to update the website and on our printed menu. But of course, I'm way too lazy to go and find images myself, so I'm going to let my assistant find suitable stock images and store them on my machine. So let's do that now. First, I'm going to select a folder on my machine, and now I'll approve access to this workspace. Now that Claude Cowork has a folder that it can work in, we have to provide it some instruction. For example, I could say, we need to download high-quality stock images in order to update our menu at the Oak and Barrel. Please use popular sources like Pexels and Unsplash to find images for the following. We'll just do something silly like steaks, sushi, pastas, burgers, craft beer, and wine. Download at least 3 options for each to the attached folder. I'll just select Opus as the model, and let's send this. And now we can see Claude working away. It's creating the folder structure for the images, and then it's going to move on to downloading each of these images. And of course, we can track the progress in this list as well. So this is effectively Claude's to-do list, and we can use this to track its current progress. So this is interesting. I just noticed this message saying that the browser isn't connected yet. So it's going to retry in a moment, and meanwhile, it's going to try an API-based approach. So what is this browser that it's referring to? So by default, Claude doesn't have access to an actual browser. So it's going to try all sorts of different techniques to try and scrape data from these pages, which really isn't optimal. Instead, what we can do is install an extension on Chrome that will give Claude access to the browser. So to do that, we can simply go to Settings, then Connectors, and then search for Claude in Chrome. Click on Configure, and you'll see the description saying, Claude in Chrome lets Claude handle work in the browser via Claude Desktop. Once enabled, browser tools are always available to Claude. Only grant full permission for trusted sites. Right, so that is now enabled. And what you also have to do in Chrome is you can go to Extensions, Manage Extensions, click on Visit Chrome Web Store, then search for Claude. Just make sure it is the official one from Anthropic, and simply install this extension. It should look something like this. And when you click on this, you can actually chat to Claude in the browser itself. So we can choose the model or get Claude to perform actions on this page. But of course, we want Claude Cowork to perform this action instead. Now, admittedly, using the browser can be quite finicky, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it seems like Claude wasn't able to use the browser, but honestly, I'm not too worried. Claude will figure this out itself. And look at that. At first it said it couldn't use the browser, and it tried to scrape these pages, which then said, no, you can't, you're being blocked. And now for some reason, our agent is indeed able to use the browser. So maybe it only needed a reset in order to see these actual tools. All right, I'm actually going to approve access to this website. And Claude automatically opened up this browser window, and now it's searching pixels for images and hopefully downloading these images automatically to our folder. Another cool way to see what Claude Cowork is up to is by going down to this context section over here. And here we can see that this connector, Claude in Chrome, is currently running. So if we click on this, it will show the browser window in the right-hand side over here. Right, so remembered earlier I said that Claude Cowork can only make changes to any folders that you grant access to, so it can't just randomly go through your system and do whatever it wants. And here is one such example. At the moment, it's downloading all of these images to my downloads folder. So if I pull this up, all of these downloads are going to my standard downloads folder on my Windows machine. So Claude then realized that in order for it to move the images from the downloads folder to the real folder, it will need access to the downloads folder. So I didn't record that specific part, but here it basically said, well, I actually don't have access to the downloads folder, and it then brought up a pop-up asking me to approve access to that folder. So you do have full control, by the way. Before Claude will access a folder, it will first ask your permission, and if you don't want Claude to have access to that folder, simply decline its request. So I am actually going to stop the process at this point, as I do think you get the idea. But Claude was indeed able to create all of these subfolders on my machine within this folder that we granted it access to. And within that, if we open up stakes, we can see all the stake images that were downloaded from Pixels or Unsplash. So this is a really elegant solution to get the agent to go online, perform some deep research, either using APIs or the browser, and to then create files in a folder on your machine. You can simply store research or even generate things like presentations. Now let's jump into something way more useful. And this is going to be a more complex scenario. It's going to involve creating a new skill, creating a connector to our email account, and setting up a scheduled task. This is the true power of Claude Cowork. The Oak and Barrel receives a lot of emails, and these are typically very simple questions that people want to ask. What are your current specials? Is the venue child-friendly? What are your operating hours, etc. And it can be really time-consuming for someone to sit down and manually respond to each of these emails. Instead, we can train our AI assistant to respond to those emails on our behalf, including all of the rules and things that it needs to know. So the first thing I'm going to do is connect our assistant to our email inbox. So we can click on plus, let's go to connectors, manage connectors, then I'll go to browse plugins, then under connectors, let's search for Gmail. And by the way, under connectors, you can see all the different providers that you can integrate with. And there really is a ton. By the way, we just want Gmail. So I'll just click on connect and this will bring up this little pop-up. And all you have to do is go through the process of allowing Claude to connect to your Gmail account. And cool, now that Gmail is connected, our agent can actually now read and respond to emails. Alright, to try and set this up, I've just sent an email to this inbox from myself saying I'd like to bring the family over and was wondering if your restaurant is child-friendly. Is there a play area and kids menu? Also, are you wheelchair accessible? So these are the types of inquiries that we get every day. Although it's a very simple inquiry, it can take the entire day to respond to all of these different emails. Instead, we can automate the response using Claude Cowork. First, let's see if Claude Cowork is able to retrieve our emails. I'll simply use the microphone for this. Hi Claude, please can you check our emails to see if there's any new inquiries from potential customers? Right then, let's send this. So Claude Cowork is now searching through our emails and it says I found one potential customer inquiry from the past week. It's from Leon van Sale. And this person is asking about bringing their family to your restaurant and has a few specific questions, whether the restaurant is child-friendly, if there's a play area and kids menu, and whether you're wheelchair accessible. Right, so now Claude is asking us if we'd be okay with responding to Leon's inquiry. Now, I don't want to tell Claude what to do every single time. Instead, I want to empower Claude Cowork to be able to respond to any inquiries itself. And that is where we can use skills. Within Claude Cowork, we can simply click on this button, then we can go to skills, and at the moment we can see we only have access to a single skill, and that's the skill creator skill. But of course we can also go to manage skills, we can go to browse plugins, and from here we can search through a massive database of pre-created skills. And there's something for everyone, from productivity to design to marketing, data, engineering, finance, and a lot more. But what we can do is simply create our own skill. If you're new to skills, it's simply a way to give your agent very specific instructions on how to perform a specific task or sequence of tasks. Like in our instance, we want to give our agent a skill that will teach it how to respond to customer emails. So let's click on this Add button. Let's go to Create Skill, and we'll create a skill using Claude. Then I'm simply going to click Let's Go. And now we should be able to tell Claude what the skill is all about. So under these questions, I'm just going to select something else. And let's try to describe the skill. I want to create a skill. In fact, I'm just going to click on Skip. Then let's stop this conversation, and I'm going to use my voice to describe this skill. All right, Claude, I want to create a new skill that an agent can use to respond to customer inquiries. So what the skill will do is give our agent the ability to read our Gmail emails, identify any customer inquiries, and then respond to the customer in a friendly tone and by using the actual information related to our restaurant. And this is where we can upload anything like the price list or the entire menu, anything related to the restaurant, like the restaurant is child friendly, it's wheelchair accessible, anything and everything that we want the agent to know about the business. This is where we can leave it. Like I've got the CSV file containing all of the items on the menu along with their prices and everything else. So I'm actually going to copy the CSV file, and let's just say I'll just paste this into the menu, and then let's also add some other stuff like other information. Our operating hours are between 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. Breakfast is served between 7 a.m. and 12. The lunch menu is in fact from 12 until 4 p.m. Then we have cocktail hour between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And the restaurant is child friendly. We've got a dedicated play area for children as well. We've got a dedicated children's menu as well with smaller portions. Our venue is on the ground floor, and it is indeed wheelchair accessible. All right, I'll leave it at that, but I think this is a lot of really cool context. And then finally, let's just say, I don't want you to send the emails yourself. Simply create the draft response in Gmail and then return a summary back to the user on all the emails that you responded to. Right, that's cool. Let's send this. And of course, I never gave the name of the restaurant, so yes, it should be Oak and Barrel. How should the agent find customer inquiries? Should it look at all unread emails or filter by a specific label and sender pattern? I'll just say all unread emails. What tone should the response have? I'll just say warm and casual. Should the skill only respond to inquiries it can confidently answer from the provided info, or attempt all customer emails? I'll say number 2, because we're not sending the emails yet. We're simply going to review the drafts and then send those that are actually accurate. Now that the agent created the skill, it's actually testing the skill itself. Nice. So now we can actually review the actual skill file if we wanted to, and we can make any changes at this point. If we're happy, we can simply save the skill. Right? So the skill was saved. Now watch the difference. Previously, the agent really didn't know how to respond to this inquiry because it didn't have any knowledge on what the restaurant is and how it operates. Now, if we start a new session, if we go to skills, we can indeed see the Oak and Barrel responder skill. So if we ask the agent, use your Oak and Barrel responder skill to respond to unread customer inquiries. Watch the difference. Firstly, we can see that the new skill was pulled into context. Now it's connecting to Gmail. So it found the email that I sent. Now it's created the draft in Gmail, and it's going to give us a summary of what it did. So that way we can always jump back to that previous conversation and just eyeball the actual summary. Like email handled was from this guy, and the status is fully answered. This means if we go back to Gmail, let's go to drafts, we can see this new draft response, and if we open this up, we can see what Claude came up with. Hi Leon, thanks so much for reaching out. We'd love to have you and the family. To answer your question, yes, yes, and yes. We're very much child-friendly. We have a dedicated play area for the little ones, plus a children's menu with smaller portions so they can enjoy the good stuff too. I mean, this is all coming from that skill. And we're fully wheelchair accessible. Our venue is on the ground floor, so getting in and around is nice and easy. We're open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so whether you're thinking breakfast, lunch, or dinner, we've got you covered. And if we like this response, all we have to do is click send. Now, I'm just going to remove this response for a seckie. I'm going to just switch this back to unread, just to show you one more cool tip. So as you can see, this was really useful, but we don't want to manually ask Claude to do this work. Instead, we want Claude Cowork to run maybe every hour or once a day to automatically respond to these emails. So all we have to do then is, since this is working, I'm just going to copy this prompt. Let's go to scheduled, new task. Let's call this respond to emails, respond to oak and barrel queries. For the prompt, I'm just going to paste in that exact same prompt. For the frequency, we can set this to hourly, daily, weekdays, or weekly, or we can just leave it on manual. Now, of course, you could simply set this to hourly, but just to demo this, I'm just going to leave it on manual. Let's click on save. And now we can see that task in this scheduled tasks. If we open this up, we can manually kick this off by clicking on run now. And on the scheduled task on the left-hand side, we can expand this and see the job that's currently running. And this way we can automate tasks like getting Claude Cowork to respond to emails. Now finally, what does dispatch do? Well, with dispatch, we can actually control Cowork and all of these different tasks from our mobile device. All you have to do is install the Claude mobile app to your Android or iOS phone and then sign in with the same account that you're using with Claude Desktop. And then from Claude Desktop, simply click on Get Started. And now you simply have to pair your phone with the mobile app. Now, if you want to control Claude Desktop using your phone, you have to keep your PC alive. If it goes to sleep or you shut it down, you won't be able to use Claude Cowork. So you can prevent your PC from going into sleep mode by enabling this toggle. Then let's finish setup. And now we can start interacting with Claude Cowork from our phones. So let's just do a quick demo of this. I'll just say, hey, please run the task to respond to emails. Then let's send this. And you'll instantly notice on Claude Desktop that message was received over here. And that was really it. On my phone, Claude is saying that it just ran the task to respond to the emails along with a brief summary. So I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to learn how to use Claude and Claude Code and all its many features, if you would like to learn how to build solutions using AI, then consider joining my community at Agentic Labs. It's only $7 per month for the first 1,000 members, and we have classrooms for all sorts of tools, including Claude Code. We also have live Q&A sessions every week where you can join and ask me anything you want. We also have an incredible community of AI builders who share ideas and learn from each other. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.